Perfect. Okay, I think we can start. Thank you, Debbie.
Bye.
While I'm thinking about it, I'm going to make Tim co-host so he can screen share in a few minutes. And then we'll be off and running. Okay. Okay, well, welcome everybody. I'm so glad that you made time to join us for a little bit this morning, and hopefully we will use that time well. This hour, and we're going to keep it to no more than an hour, you will hear from Tim Sharp, our Executive Director, Trina Kopaka, who is our ACDA Membership and Communications Coordinator, Kathy Bott, who is our current chair for Missouri and Southwestern region and an outstanding and long-term membership chair, and myself. So we will, in this session, cover membership drive basics. Trina will share some updates that have happened on the membership dashboards and some of the additions that we have planned ahead. And Kathy will introduce you to the brand new membership chair handbook, which is an amazing feat, and we're very excited about it. We're aiming to keep the presentation part of this to no more than 30 minutes so that we can then open up for questions and comments and discussion of anything that you might want to do. If you want to, you can put some questions in the chat and we'll address those kinds of things later. But you can also, we'll probably have plenty of time for you to just unmute yourself, and with this size group, probably that's going to be pretty manageable. So that at that point, any of the staff or your peers or whoever, I'm sure would love to respond or answer questions. So we are recording, just so everybody knows, and we're going to open with Tim Sharp, who will give us a little big picture thoughts on that will help frame this coming year for us.
Thank you, Sandra, and good morning, everyone. I hope you're all well and able to stay focused during this kind of crazy, chaotic time. I appreciate you being here, and I know Sandra does and Trina do as well, because you're so busy and you're all ramping up for your falls, whatever formation those take. And we're just so thrilled that your leadership outlook includes making us a part of that focus amidst everything else. So thank you from our sincere thank you. Also, best wishes to all of you in this focus environment. Sandra asked me just to give you a word. You may have read my my editorial in the Coral Journal that's already electronically out for this month, or seen some of my posts on social media. But I want to go back to it because I think it's really important for us today, and it really says everything that keeps me centered as I start my mornings. I have a sort of a 4M. I have M&Ms is my morning routine. I start up by, my first M in the morning is movement. At my age, I have to move around a little bit just to get things going. So I move some, I feed the cats, I take a little walk, I go to the gym, I get movement going. My second area is meditation. I spend just a moment centering on what I do and what is important for the day, and who I am and what I'm called to be. And then my third M is actually mastery. I spend my most important time is my morning time, and I'm spending that with you all this morning. My mastery time is getting at the very heart of everything that I do. And frankly, my fourth M is the rest of the day. It's called maintenance. It's just getting everything else done, and that's feeding the cats again, looking at spreadsheets, just doing basic stuff. So I'm an M&M guy, and part of my meditation M this morning, and has been now for 4 months, has been this hymn from Robert Lowry from 1869. You all probably seen me share it, but there's something about it I want to really zero in on for this meeting. I'll read the text, and again, you all probably, if you know me, you know I come from I've worked in churches and so on. This is a Christian hymn, but I don't want you to get off on that. I want to get a more universal interpretation of this hymn, and I'm focusing on the first verse, not the second and third verse, but the first verse, which I think is more universal than just one particular faith statement. And here's the words. It says, "My life flows on in endless song, above earth's lamentation. I catch the sweet though far off hymn that hails a new creation. Through all the tumult and the strife, I hear the music ringing. It finds an echo in my soul. How can I keep from singing? Well, those words during the last 5 months have really, really come into me, mainly, first of all, because Robert Lowry was experiencing a cholera epidemic in Brooklyn in 1869 when he wrote this hymn. So that was amazingly relevant to me, that he was actually writing that during a pandemic himself. Secondly, they were 4 years into the Restoration after the Civil War, and he still finds the spirit to write this hymn. So I can read into this a lot more than just little words. I think those words are just as poignant to him as they are to us right now. And I would look at words like lamentation and all the tumult and the strife. Wow, I mean, that is certainly the current that we're into. But this line is the one that I really zero in on. It says, I catch the sweet, though far off him that hails a new creation. And I underscore those words, a new creation, because I think that is the great hope for what we're going through right now. I know with my work, I've been really, really focusing on three mantras that I'm looking at. Number one, I know that I have to have a new mindset as I go into this, that I have long past thought, oh, this will go away, or I'm going to procrastinate that decision, or I'm going to wake up some morning and all this stuff is going to disappear. I have long now learned that I have to have a new mindset, and that, of course, is new ways of thinking of technology, new ways of experiencing community, new ways of delivering content, and I am adopting that new mindset, and with that comes the need for a new skill set. And I'm working overtime like you guys are to acquire that skill set, because I believe if I do it right, it can be sustainable, and it can actually take us into what Lowry is talking about here for me, is the idea of a new creation. I think we're reinventing ourselves, and that can be a really good thing in so many ways right now. If I can just keep with this idea of a new mindset leading to a new skill set. And then the third thing I'm really pushing for myself is a collaborative team set, that we can't do this alone. And Sandra and Trina are going to help you all today to say, mainly, we've got your back as a state president and a membership chair for your state. We want to help you, give you the tools. We want to be there to give you some support, even more support during this time where some heroic efforts are needed. We want to have your back, and we want to be a collaborative team for you during this time. And everything we're ramping up is headed in that direction. So how can we help you? How can we have your back? And how can we be collaborative with this? So Sandra, my underscore, my word today is those words, a new creation. That's what we're looking at, and we want AC to be that for everyone. I'm going to hang out and lurk here and listen for just a few minutes before I go to Voices United. They're having their state conference today, and I'm making an appearance there. But I want to listen just a little bit. Thanks to Sandra and Trina for the hard work, and Kathy for the hard work you all have done. And I know others have worked with you too in order to make this happen. And I just look at this Zoom meeting as a part of that new creation. This can be a very good new template for us to think about better ways of communicating with these tools that we've all become way too familiar with during the last few months. So thank you for letting me chime in, Sandra, and good luck in the meeting.
Thank you so much, Tim. So great. That's a very good frame for what we're getting ready to launch in with our new year on so many different levels. First, I want to tell you just some basics about the upcoming membership drive. This is a drive that we've done every year for probably 6 or 7 years at this point. The dates for the drive are going to be starting on September 15th and running for 2 months through November 15th. That's basically the same way we've done it in the last year or two. Gives us time to kind of get our footing in school year and so on, and come on strong and wind up in a good way. You will be hearing more from me as we go through August. I'll be emailing you on a more regular basis in terms of like, take a look at this page for instructions on how to use your comp memberships, or here's other information that you're going to need to know. So you should be getting emails from me, let's say at least every couple of weeks this month. And if you are not, we need to figure out why. And as Tim said, our role here at the national office, we feel that we really strive to kind of just provide you the tools to help you do the real work that happens in the state. Most of our members know ACDA through their state, and you are the ones that know your state best and your membership and what the possibilities are for new members or renewing members. So we've come up with and expanded some of the programs that we have been running in past years, but we are always eager to hear from you if you have other ideas or ways that we can help you, take advantage of existing populations there or virtual events that are happening or whatever. We just want to be ready to assist you. I'm going to tell you about two programs that I shared at the leadership conference, but I know not everybody was there, that are expansions of some programs that we've been doing for a couple of years. We really recognize that this year is like no other, and we wanted to do what we could to help people say yes to membership or to renewal. So the first one is that we've always done a student membership initiative since I've been here, at least. The old version required the states to opt in and to help subsidize that to the amount of $15 a student. And Felicia, this should answer your question. We've expanded that, so we have just given the $5 dues to every new or renewing student. There's no special state opt-in that has to happen, and we will not be billing you for the $15. We just really, we've noticed probably percentage-wise that we're losing students at a faster rate than we are other members. And we want to make sure that we keep, good representation of students in our association. It's really important. So $5 for everybody. That's easy if you go online. It's, you just register or you renew and you're going to get the $5 dues. If you're using old membership forms, you probably want to, update them or whatever, but they should just be writing checks for $5 if that's the case. But I think most students really find the online version way easier than we do. And the other piece of it is the complimentary membership program. If you remember in the past, we've offered, I think between 10 and 15 complimentary active memberships that each state could take and use for either brand new people coming into ACDA to kind of give them a trial year, or people that had been lapsed for 3 or 4 years or more and really hadn't seen kind of the level of benefits and various things that ACDA has now. What we're doing, because I think you all know way better than we do here sitting in Oklahoma City what the situation is in your state. We're going to give each state 20 comp memberships and loosen our restrictions on how they're used. So they could be used. To get new to get new active members in, or to help old, long time reactivated people come back in. They can also be used for hardship cases. If you know a member that, who's lost their job at a school district or something like that has happened, you can use your judgment, and we're not going to ask any questions. We'll just process the comp membership. And Paul, you mentioned that, we might be, is Paul here? I didn't. Yes, he is. Okay. So, hi, Paul. You made the suggestion that couldn't we do something to give new choir directors in urban districts free membership? You can use them for that. So I think that's a fabulous idea. We're not going to ask too many questions, but I'd certainly be happy to talk to anybody if you have questions about that or have thoughts about ways to use that. You'll be hearing more this month from me about how to do those. I think we'll probably have to use a paper form, but we're going to experiment a little bit and see what the logistics will be. 20 memberships, I think most states would be enough. If you're in a big state like Polly, it could be that there's more need. So if you have a great idea or more members that kind of need help, whatever, give me a call and we may be able to up that number for you. So We want to help, and we recognize this is an unprecedented year. So we don't want to be a hindrance to helping to keep the members that we really need to keep or to get new members in. So like I said, I'll be emailing you regularly. Probably next week will be the first time. I'll also provide, maybe not next week, but because I have to gather some information, but sending out your baseline information. We'll kind of use a baseline of June 30th membership to give you all a friendly, competitive element. If that's something that you respond to, we will have some of the same kind of rewards and acknowledgments that we've had in previous years. Oh, and one other thing that I know somebody suggested, and maybe it was Felicia, I can't remember, we will have automatic renewals available. That is not yet in place, but it should be by September 1, for sure by the start of the membership drive. So that's something where if people go in to renew or to join, they can check a box and opt into automatic renewals. And we're really pretty excited about that. It's been a long time coming. So that's what I've got on the membership drive. You'll certainly be hearing more from me in the next few months. I'd like to move on to Trina, who's going to share a little bit with you about what's going on with membership dashboards. And I've asked her not to give like a detailed tutorial today because some of you really have been using them already, but she'll tell you how to get hold of her if you need one of those.
Yes. Hi. Thank you, Sandra. Hi, everyone. Hopefully, like Sandra said, most of you have already had a chance to log in and to use your chapter dashboard. But I believe we have some new membership chairs here today. And if you have not, or if you are still struggling to get logged in, please set a time or email me or call me and we can set up a time to meet virtually. I've found that that is the best way to get you the information you need on how to get logged in. And it doesn't take all that long, up to 30, 45 minutes, depending on the issues we run into. Just send me an email at membership@acda.org with some of the times that you might be available, and we will get something set up. It's really, truly no bother for me to do that. We want to get you that information so that you can use it to reach out to your memberships. Alrighty, on to the updates. Every chapter has access to 6 different reports. When you have logged in, be sure to go to the Reports tab. On that startup page, you will only see reports that you use the most. To find all of your reports, click on the All Reports link in the left-hand column to find all of them. And if you've been logging in, you'll probably recognize this information. We've made many updates since the reports were first made available, which now include email addresses, activity types, wire types, and more. If there is a column with within a report that you would like added, which would make your life much, much easier, please ask. If it is something that would be helpful to everyone, I will see if we can add it to the reports. Some things to note. 2 reports I would like to bring to your attention are the ACDA Total Memberships Report and the ACDA Current Members Report. They make it confusing when reporting to your leadership or looking at them yourself. The ACDA Current Members Report will tell you how many people have ACDA memberships. The ACDA Total Memberships will tell you how many memberships have been purchased. This number will generally be higher number due to the duplicate accounts, members purchasing more than one membership, or joining instead of renewing before their membership lapsed. If you have any questions about these or other reports, just let me know. Next, the lapsed member report now includes all lapsed members for the last year from today instead of only from June 30th. We were really excited to have that change. For best results, please export the reports into a spreadsheet of your choosing. If you would like to be able to sort by different fields, move columns around, and to see all of the data. One thing, if you think some of your fields are missing within the report, they probably are. The reports on the dashboard will only show up to 2,000 rows. However, when you export the report, all of the data is available to see there. All right, I think that's all I have for today. Again, if you have specific questions or would like to schedule a call with me, just let me know. I'm happy to do it.
Thank you, Trina. Now we're going to move over to Kathy Bott, and she is going to share some wisdom and a little bit of the highlights of the membership chair handbook. And I just want to lift her work up. She led the charge with developing a membership chair handbook and was helped quite a lot by Ginger Wyrick, our North Carolina membership chair, who is also a long-term membership chair, and Evan Powers from Florida. So it's a pretty exciting publication, and I think one of the best handbooks that we have for leaders. So Kathy.
So thank you. I really appreciate the opportunity to share some thoughts. And I have kind of a combination, just if you don't mind, I don't want it to sound like I'm reading, but if I don't look at my thoughts, then I get too random. And that's not good for us. So, you know, you are here for membership and you love membership. I love membership. It's one of my two great passions. My other great passion, well, yesterday or the other day, I thought it was food, and it is food, but it really is still Hamilton. I know that I am late to the obsession, but I am Hamilton obsessed. It's crazy. But anyway, we're going to talk about membership. This is about the handbook and about membership in general. So there was a time a few years ago, I have to ask, my dogs are outside and they're barking. Can you hear them? Is it a problem? Good. I kept them out there because if they were barking in here, that is a problem, but they're just barking outside. They can see me. We'll wave to them and say. So we were in a board meeting and somebody said to me, Kathy, how long do you plan on doing this? And do you write stuff down that you do? And the insecure part of me was a little offended because I thought, well, aren't I not doing a good job? Do you not like what I'm doing? And then are you trying to replace me? Do you need to? But the smarter brain of me said, you know, it is a good idea to have some things down in place because you never know what the world is like. And it also helps me in planning. But I couldn't do it because the stuff that I did was really just kind of ingrained in my life. And it was nearly impossible until 2018 when I met Ginger. And between the two of us, she is so organized and she is so eloquent. So between the two of us, we created a document that was about things that we did as membership chairs. But it really didn't go anywhere because it was only made sense to us. It was the things that she and I both did. Then after the leadership meeting in 2020, when we talked with Evan was really the turning point for this handbook because he asked questions and caused us to think differently. So between the three of us, what is there is okay, it's really beautiful too, but it is, I hope you find it so helpful because it outlines tasks for beginning, it outlines tasks for intermediate, and it tasks for people who want to grow their membership even beyond that. There are tutorial videos in there. There are email templates and samples of emails that you want to send. All of those links are embedded within the handbook. So everything that you need really to be a successful membership chair, it's there, just like Ragu, it's in there. So we hope that you find it helpful. We worked really hard at it, and it is brought to you with love from people who know membership and have been doing membership for a lot of years. Best practices, our greatest thoughts, organized, revised, and it was pretty cool. So what I love about membership is I see it as having a specific purpose. We want to create, support, and grow our choral community. I'm so excited if you will have these conversations about membership. I am so willing to talk about membership anytime, not because I know a lot, I just love talking about it. And it's so exciting to be able to talk to people. Love these spaces here. So in my experience as a membership chair, I see three types of people that I want to engage with as members of ACDA. First, there's you, the people who are here. Second, there's people who really do not see a value in ACDA. And then 3, there's those people who join just for a conference because they see a conference and they want to attend that conference. And so they join their membership then. So the first group of people, you love ACDA. I do not, as a membership chair, have to work hard to convince you to renew your membership. You sometimes need reminders, but you don't need convincing. And that's an important element because the people who don't need convincing, they understand and value what ACDA is. However, as a membership chair, for you who love ACDA, I still need to create a community and an environment in which you feel supported, you feel loved, you feel respected, and you feel valued. And that I do my job in reminding you pretty regularly that you are an important person. That builds our community. And when people feel connected to the community, they stay as part of the community. The most challenging group of people are the ones who really don't see any value to ACDA. I have to work really hard to kind of convince them. This is where the 2-year that's my program. This is where the complimentary membership comes in, that we can give them a peek at what it's like, and hopefully with enough support to encourage them. Sometimes people at a smaller school or maybe a church, they think they're never going to perform at a division or regional conference. They're never going to be on Carnegie Hall. So why does ACDA have that stigma of elitism for them? Elementary teachers, sometimes I've had people tell me, I am not a conductor. So why would a professional choral organization have anything for me? Which I disagree with 100%, but I have to figure out ways. That's my job, to come up with the creative ways to talk to them about it. So the last group, those people who only join for a conference. You know, if it was really about just growing our community, our organization, that would be easy. And our job would be easy because all we would have to do is have a big event. And then we have that big event and everybody comes. But honestly, a big event without substance behind it is a one-shot deal. And those people don't stay. They came for that reason. And so sometimes if those people are offered a leadership role, resource chair, or a part of a task force, then they become more like you, because then they see the value in the organization beyond that single event. I just think that's such an important part to connect them to the community of membership. So you know that everybody wants to be in the room where it happens. And it's our job to make sure as membership chairs that people feel connected that way. That was my little Hamilton reference. So working on this handbook for me has done so much. I have to read what this says because I want to get it right. It clarified the tasks that I've already been doing, but it also gave me a renewed purpose and a drive to serve my membership with not just in my state, but at the regional level. I am so excited to be able to connect our Southwestern regional chairs, because you know what? There are regions out there that are now powerhouses and they're big, and we're going to grow our membership, but we're going to grow it in a way that everybody stays. So all of you out there in those huge districts and regions, you better know that Southwestern's coming up and it's awesome. And I'm so excited to be there. And I would love to talk about membership with anybody, anytime, just because, you know, I'm a lonely membership chair in my state. I'm the only one. Oh, wait, you're the only one too. We have to connect. So let's be in the room where it happens, right? Everybody talk membership. Okay, I'm done.
Thank you, Kathy. And you can tell she's not at all competitive. Thank you very, very much. You're awesome. So I wanted to open up to any thoughts, anything you would like to share, any questions you might have. You know, this kind of was a free-ranging part of the webinar on Tuesday. For instance, I thought we had some really interesting thoughts on, and what were the, sharing ideas about, you know, in this season when we're going and doing all kinds of free virtual events, like how do you keep membership value? How do you offer members something that is important to them so that they join. But I just want to open up for any questions, either to Trina or I or Kathy or to your peers or thoughts, whatever you would like. Just unmute yourself and go ahead.
Hi, this is Kim from Maine, and I had a question about the rewards that we got from the last membership drive, that they're the Dallas Convention registrations. And so how will that work? Or are we just putting that on hold?
We will know more in a month, I think.
Okay.
There have been no decisions made, at least public ones at this point, about what's going to happen or not happen. So we will be, definitely we'll try to honor the intent of those. And it may be that we, extend it to the next, time when we can get together again.
Yeah, we were going to use them at our fall conference as sort of like, a promotion. If you register for the fall conference, your name would be put into a drawing that you would a chance to get one of those. So I guess we can just put that on hold and see.
We may be able to answer the question about whether that makes sense or not. My guess, but we don't know at this point, is that there will be some kind of conference, but
Okay.
what it will look like or anything, we have no idea. I mean, we have ideas, but we have lots of ideas.
All right. Thanks.
I had a question. Hi, Felissa from Massachusetts. On the same account, this is my first time in state leadership as president, so I wasn't unaware of what the awards are that you mentioned in your presentation. So could you discuss what that actually means, or what that is?
Sure. So I should have a cheat sheet here, but I don't. What we've done is we give you a baseline of kind of where you're measuring from on June 30th in terms of total membership and active membership totals and so on. And then we give kind of a top prize to states that are able, and this is why I haven't done it yet. We're just having to rethink everything. But in previous years, we thought if you raised your membership totals by 10 to 15%, then you qualify for a drawing, you get recognized at the national conference, there's a plaque, so there's varying levels of growth that would be either total or active membership types. And some of it involves, kind of recognition at the national conference, or there's a grand prize for paying for your headliner, at your next state option, so like, I don't know what we'll do since everything is so uncertain and chaotic. We're just trying to figure it all out. We do, we have certificates. We have there's two free comp memberships to people in your registrations for the conference for the top winners, I think. But again, we're even going to the point not only of trying to figure out what the prizes are, but whether it makes sense to expect a 10 to 15% growth, in this kind of climate. I don't know that that's really realistic. So if you'll just pardon that, we're kind of struggling here a little bit to rethink some of the things that were almost routine, in previous years. So if any of you all have thoughts on that, or I'd be really eager to hear them. Yes.
And I had one other question. Oh, sorry.
Oh, Felicia, no, go ahead.
I just had a second question. And this was in reference to the membership drive. I was excited to hear about the comp memberships, because I already was working with the ethnic and diversity chair about going into urban areas and other areas of people who have never had a chance to be a part of ACDA or may not know about getting. So I guess my question is about how to advertise that, because I didn't even know about this program, but we were trying to figure out how we could actually do that to get some as an incentive for new membership. So can we just advertise it on our website, or would you suggest just reaching out individually to teachers or?
I guess it depends on what response you might anticipate. Certainly advertising, I wouldn't say that you automatically get one, but we have some available, and we'd like to hear from you if you could use one or something. Might
okay.
promote.
All right, thank you.
Mm-hmm. And I think Caitlin and then Ann.
Caitlin Jennings, I'm the membership chair from Kentucky. And sort of a follow-up question to Sandra, what you said was discussed at the end of the Tuesday meeting, trying to look for strategies or suggestions for how to make that transition from casting the net wide during these kind of free webinars, meetings. At least in Kentucky, we're doing something called Kentucky Choral Connect. And what we're trying to do, we're opening those to all choral conductors. We're doing kind of R&R specific breakout rooms within Zoom. We've got a chapter account for Zoom, and then putting active members of our chapter in leadership positions, like as facilitators of each of those rooms, because I think at least membership strategy wise, what we've had the best success with, because geographically Kentucky is very spread out and regionally we don't really have a lot of overlap. Because we have so few cities that can host conferences. Our conferences are always in Louisville and our events are always in Lexington or Louisville. We don't really get to other parts of the state. So I'm kind of hoping that we can build those personal connections and help connect either under-resourced teachers or newer teachers with kind of the movers and shakers within the choral realm in our state to then try to invigorate inspiring them to membership, because I think the cost of national conferences is pretty prohibitive for most of our Kentucky teachers. So trying to go strategically that way, but just wondering if anyone has suggestions or ideas for how to transition from, okay, we're offering all of this for free, and offering the resource and the collective, brain power of our active members in our R&R chairs. And then how do we translate that into people wanting to join? I think the comp memberships, I'm really excited there's 20 offered. I know the question was brought up in the chat. The paperwork side is really hard, especially young teachers who don't do printers. Getting them to scan and sign and send back to you, even with me following up repeatedly, is a little tricky. But if anyone has other suggestions for how we transition from free open events to things that are more member based, I would really love to hear.
I wanted to talk about why I think it's actually great that that we're doing a lot of free events, and then I find in the time of COVID that ACDA is reaching out more to reaching a lot more people who might not have literally taken a Saturday and walked to your campus somewhere and done something for hours, but might come on a Zoom with their colleagues to brainstorm how the hell to handle the fall. So this is actually a great opportunity, and coming from kind of a community choir background, we also have to sort of recreate a new creation, and part of what we're doing is trying to show our community and our fans that we're still connected to the community in various ways. We're still doing this and that, even if it's not in-person singing. So I think it's great that so many of these webinars and things have been open to everyone. And I think you can also point out, it'd be really helpful, maybe Kathleen, if you were including this in some of your, what you send out to people, what has ACDA gotten behind that's really helping us right now? For example, the study that's coming out this afternoon, the webinars that we've provided, the information, the resources on our website, which are I think open, most of them, to everyone. But for people who can afford to appreciate that, people who have the money, they can be encouraged to support ACDA by being a member, to support what we've been able to do to make our resources available to people. So we don't necessarily have to put up a wall, I think. I think it could be a really exciting time for membership. That's just my little two thoughts.
Paul.
Yeah, I would say the same thing. We just hosted several Zoom meetings, roundtables, where we broke out into sessions to talk in the different areas about their response to the COVID and all that kind of thing. And then at the end, we brought them all back together, and I did a presentation of how to join ACDA and about our virtual conference in October. And so we found that to be a really great way to kind of bring some of our non-members who came to that meeting, had those little breakout sessions to build that community, and then brought them all back together. And it was actually very successful. Hopefully we'll see that in our numbers.
Awesome. And I'm just going to say for the recording, that was Paul Neal, president of Georgia.
Well, can I ask a quick follow-up question? Karen from Pennsylvania. How did you let non-ACDA members know about your roundtables?
Yeah, so we have a Facebook page that we have one that's officially for only the members, and then we have a thing that we call Friends of Georgia ACDA that's open to the public. And so we just had our social media coordinator just post some information on that. And then I sent out emails to all of the current members that we were having the meeting and inviting them to people to come. The non-members, the first time we tried it, just opening it up on Zoom, on Facebook, we had a few people that tried to bomb the meeting. So we had to kind of fix that at the beginning. But the second time we did it, we actually had a Google form that they just, anyone non-member could go to the Google form, put their name and email address, and then our membership chair actually emailed them directly and said, we're so glad you're interested in this meeting. Here's the Zoom information. They came to the Zoom meeting, and then I did the presentation at the end.
Thank you.
Excellent. Kathy.
Paul, can I ask you a question about your Facebook pages? So we have an ACDA Facebook, and for our state, we have an MCDA Facebook page. Do yours, and you require them to be members when they are on that first page?
We try.
Okay.
It's a little iffy because we
It's
do.
hard.
Yeah, it is. That's why we have the Friends of Georgia ACDA. That one, that's open to anybody that wants to join, and it helps us just kind of get some basic words out. But now with the new database, we're going to really try to keep the Georgia ACDA Facebook group as a specific group just for the members. But
So I had an argument with one of our presidents about the Facebook thing because, you know, I really want in our state, I want us to have things that are for members, because otherwise why join? If everything is out there for everybody, what are we doing that is specific? What is a benefit for your membership? What is unique that we can offer in our state? And being within the Facebook group was one of them. But managing Facebook is a nightmare because, you know, every month somebody, okay, I have to take this person out, and there's no list to find them. So our Facebook page is MCDA, but it's MCDA.
yeah,
Okay.
we're in the same boat.
That makes me feel better.
There's a lot of debate in our leadership of Georgia ACDA about why are we doing these two pages. And so ideally, the one that's listed as Georgia ACDA should be just for the members. It has gotten a little loose over the last several
I
years.
totally understand that. Okay.
Can I jump in there? We from Alabama, we actually had our summer conference online one day, and we did the same thing. We just put it, and it was free, open to anybody from any state. You didn't have to be a member of ACDA to attend. And kind of like people have already mentioned, Paul, for example, we put it up on our Facebook page. All of the board members were asked to share it on our Facebook pages. And so then, you know, it's reaching the collegiate conductors, it's reaching the high school, it's reaching church people. And so we had a good turnout. We had over 100 people, which for Alabama is a big stinking deal. So we were very pleased by that. Yay! Don't know quite yet if we got any sort of membership boost out of it, but we really did it more as a service than a membership event. And probably should have pushed harder on the membership side, but got lots of good feedback about the people appreciating the service aspect of that to the community.
I definitely feel like this spring, especially, people responded so well to just putting resources out there for everybody and opening up events. I mean, it was a time we all needed a little care and connection, and I think that will continue, but we do have to kind of think in other ways too to keep our chapters and association thriving. Yeah. Anne.
Hi, good morning from Washington State. It's very early today, so sorry.
Thank you for joining us so early.
This is great. And I'm the president, I'm not the membership chair, but I wanted to share with Laura, you know, we did the same thing in Washington. I know Oregon did as well, where normally in the summer we would have a conference where people pay and they come and they stay in residence. And we decided instead to offer it as a free service. And now we are trying to figure out how to sort of recoup some of that because it's a big moneymaker for our state. And of course, we want to be in a position to offer more resources throughout the season. But we can't continue, I don't think, to offer things strictly for free And so what we've been thinking about is trying to figure out how to offer some kind of a sliding scale so that those members who are experiencing extreme hardship, I don't know about other states, but our state, State Superintendent of Public Education was very blunt about what schools could and couldn't do regarding singing, and it was very damaging, and we're seeing some of our members lose their jobs. And so we wanted to offer one way for people to pay if they have a hardship or if they're a student, or perhaps not have to pay at all. And then those who can pay more if they're in a good position to do so, but continue to offer our events available to everybody, but members get a reduced rate the way we normally do conferences. And if you're a non-member, you would pay more to register. And that's maybe one way to continue to support, being able to support, as Kathy was saying, what is the perk of being a member versus a non-member. And in a normal year, we would not offer things that frequently throughout the year. And this year we're hoping to offer things almost every month, sometimes social things that are simply free, but then other more resource and rep driven kinds of offerings that are a little bit more substantial. So I wanted to thank Laura for mentioning that her conference was a service. I think a lot of us did do that, as Sandra, you just mentioned, and I'm really glad we were able to do it. But we do have to think a little bit differently moving forward so we can still be here in a couple of years for our members.
So, Anne, you mentioned that your conference is a big money maker for you. In Alabama, we're lucky if we break even. So in terms of that was not a concern. We did pay our clinicians the standard rate, but fortunately we have the budget to do that, not all the time, but for this year we did. I can see if you were raising funds for scholarships or student travel to conferences, that's an important component in your thought process behind, can we offer it for free?
Well, I should clarify, it's not a profitable event for us. It supports our activities throughout the year. And
Right.
so this year we were not able to raise the money to support our activities throughout the year. So we need to think of ways to be able to support those. Thanks, Laura. Yeah, I should have been more careful with my words, but I think I need another cup of coffee for that.
If we make money, we're happy, so.
I had a follow-up question to maybe Anne or anyone. So as we're looking to make a transition for maybe offering some more member-specific resources as we get further down this pandemic rabbit hole, has anyone successfully integrated a payment platform through their website? How are we collecting? How are you collecting like workshop type fees other than just, I don't know, PayPal or Venmo, or hoping people out of the goodness of their heart will send money? So I'm curious how we do that securely, and then also meeting whatever kind of financial, I'm not the treasurer, but the financial guidelines and transparency for accounting and audits.
I would from Massachusetts. We actually were just having this conversation last night because we're having a virtual conference, which we're offering free for membership, but we actually are charging a fee for non-members. And this was my first time working with that. And we have a new state treasurer too as well. So we were looking at things like Constant Contact was one, as Zapier was another that was recommended to us. Zapier we found, I think is who we're gonna go with, but their price is actually free for like 5 events, and I think it's only $19 for the first tier of additional events. But the reviews were very good, and but those are the two that we happen to be looking into.
Can you spell the second one or put it in the chat box?
I'll put it in the chat.
And just a heads up that we'll save the chat, and we've got this recorded, so we'll send it out to everyone so that you have it.
Then I was wondering if, Polly, you would mind expanding on what you guys did with inviting those people that were not members already, what you did there.
Unmuting myself. Can you hear me?
Yes.
This was Jeffrey Benson's idea, our state president. And we've had a summer conference near Yosemite for about 36 years, I think. It's the first year not to have that. So they quickly put together what they called the Summer Summit and invited anyone everywhere. And we had people actually from overseas. We had somebody from Brazil and different states. It was really open to just anyone, but there was a $25 fee. And they were hoping to get 100 paid registrants. I think students were free, I believe. And there were almost 200 students as part of that conference. And it totaled over 750 in the end. And was a 2.5-day conference online. And then our administrative secretary, Kathleen Preston, determined who had never been a member amongst those 750 in California people who had never been a member of CCDA, California CCDA, and invited them to apply their $25 toward the membership. And we don't know. It's as someone else said here, it's too early to see how that has worked out yet. And then I'm in process of contacting our lapsed members right now to see if we can get them back on board. Did I answer your question? I may have gotten off subject.
No, I thought that was a really wonderful way to invite people that have never been members of ACDA into ACDA.
I should add that we did have a series of webinars after COVID started. So we had probably once a month. And those were free. But when we came to the Summer Summit, we thought, we really need to charge a little bit because we wanted to pay our headliners, Andre Thomas and Trajet King and so forth, and Rollo Dilworth. So we had great people there. I learned a lot. It was really fun. It was great. Thank you.
Anybody else?
We're doing some social hours because what we found, we did not have our conference in Missouri. We did not have our conference, and it turned out then Texas and Arkansas had amazing and Colorado had amazing conferences all at the same time. So when we had our divisions. So during the week, we did some virtual offerings, some resource share things, and our social hours though were open to anybody and extended, and that was really nice. We found it was great to see each other. We hadn't seen each other in a long time, and some of it was fun. But our president Stephen Rue, he does a Friday at 4 Facebook Live through our Facebook group, and he just gets on for a few minutes, and he's funny and entertaining, but also is just a sweet person. So it works really well. It has to be the right person to do something like that. But he gets on, and then it's a nice thing to have that. But we're also going to do Fridays once a month, and we're inviting a special guest. So our first special guest is Charles Bruffy. And that's pretty exciting that, he's going to come in and just talk for a little while. We're going to break up into rooms so we have a chance to chat, come back, break up into new rooms within, 30 to 40 minutes. Everybody can just say hi. Anything that we can do to connect each other right now.
And there's a question in the chat about, there was a discussion at the leadership conference about automating renewal. That automatic renewal is something that coming up, after our IT manager says September 1, I'm saying at least by the start of the membership drive on September 15th. New members, or when you go to renew, you'll be able to check a box that says, I want my membership to automatically renew. So you'll just enter your payment information, it will stay there. You'll get alerted when it's about to come up again, so you can make modifications if you'd like. So on. Any other last thoughts? We're coming right up to 11 o'clock Central.
I just had a question about
Sleep again.
if anyone had any ideas for collegiate membership. I just making sure to get those students involved. As a person who teaches college students, I've been really active in my membership, but I don't see it necessarily across the state. So I didn't know if any of people who have served as president or membership chair before had any ideas. I know the $5 is fantastic, but to get that information out and get those students involved in your state, I didn't know if anyone had a specific thing that they do.
Trina, you want to talk about the student chapters a little bit? Because that seems to be, that's a time-honored way to get students involved.
And then I have something in Wisconsin that we do as well.
I wish I had more to say about the student chapters. We did not push real hard to pursue those this spring because so many universities went to virtual learning and the groups were not meeting. So this fall, my hope is to reach out to all the advisors and see if they are interested in reactivating the chapters. It's just a simple form to fill out.
You know, some states have, oh, sorry.
No, go ahead.
I was just going to say that some states have a student representative on their board, which, you know, decide to really, I mean, not just a person sitting there, but think of ways that they can take some responsibility and make sure that they're involved in a good way. There have sometimes been kind of student-focused orientations before a state event. I don't know how that would work in a virtual world since, you know, probably all the events are shorter than normal, but there are a ton of ways that you can kind of think to, it seems almost most important to help them hook together to create a network of other students like them, but also connection with people who are out there so that, you know, they can be shown some extra attention, you know.
Felicia, we have a student within a, we have a conference within a conference for our students, like a new student and our new teacher and student academy. And that has been super successful in bringing students in and also getting them involved in that leadership role.
Just another thought on getting students engaged. For those like free webinar type events, if you're offering those, my plan is to reach out to all of our college and university advisors of those student chapters and let them know that, I mean, I assume students are still gonna have to get observation contact hours during this virtual semester potentially, but making sure that they know that if they include that in their syllabus, that I as the membership chair will circle back with those professors and let them know, hey, you had X, Y, and Z students from University of Louisville or Western Kentucky, so that they can get credit, and maybe they might even consider making that either an optional or extra credit or required part of their online coursework for any of their music ed seminars.
Thank you. And Felicia, sorry, I didn't hear all of your comments because I was commenting in the chat, but there's some good ideas that have shown up. I encourage you all to read the chat about student chapters.
Mm-hmm. So I am going to draw to a close because I know some people do need to get on with their lives outside of the virtual meetings. I want to really thank each one of you who showed up today, and it's been a fantastic discussion. I appreciate you asking the questions, but especially sharing some of your experiences and ideas that you've been working on, because I think that is absolutely the best way that we can cross-fertilize and help, you know, with those new ideas. So Trina and I are here at the national office available to help or answer questions, or Trina especially on the membership dashboards. If you just need some orientation on those, she's eager to do that. I am always eager to hear your ideas or requests to see if, you know, maybe we can do something a little bit differently. Kathy has said repeatedly that she'd love to talk with you. She's a treasure at ACDA, having served as membership chair for 18 years, something.
Oh, it's closer to 24, but we aren't counting.
Okay.
With the Facebook group that we have that Sandra started, you know, it doesn't get a whole lot of traffic, which I think is kind of silly for us because that's our best way for us to connect and share strategies and just pop on, hey, I did this and I did this and I did this. And that's a great thing for us to use, just the ACDA membership chairs group.
So for membership chairs, that's a really valuable resource, and you'll get responses and comments back very quickly. There's a state president and presidents-elect group that is also a wonderful place for those of you in those roles to ask questions and get some of the perspectives and experiences from people who are serving or have served in those roles. So thank you very much. You'll be hearing shortly from me with the recording and some follow-up, just writing down some of the stuff that we have here. Thank you for coming. Thank you for all the service that you're giving to your states and to the ACDA membership. We so appreciate it, and hope to talk to you soon. And I'm going to try to stop the recording.